Welcome back everybody to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and this is not going to be another episode of how to make a Geo Metro faster, but it is an update on Project FreeTro. So basically what I've done, I've got some maintenance stuff I need to do to the car. I need to put a crank seal in it, needed a couple of control arms, and some wheel bearings and some other stuff like that. So this is the point where I'm fixing that stuff. So I'm going to flip the camera around and show you exactly what I'm doing. So, alright everybody, got FreeTro in the garage, which is not where I want it to be. And as you can see, nothing in here has changed. Like I said a while ago, I have replaced the crank seal in it, down here. Put a new timing belt on it. I'm going to put a new drive belt on it while I'm in here. Just because we got where we were leaking so much oil, I was having to put oil in it every time I would take it out to do any kind of testing. And as you can also see, I've got the suspension tore out of the car, at least on the passenger side. I've not tore the driver's side down yet. But, so what I'm doing here, I got some new control arms for both sides. I put some new wheel bearings in our factory rotor hub. And as you can see, I also put a long wheel stud in it. These are a 12-150 stud, and you do have to drill the hub slightly forward. Real common drill bit size, I think it was like a 15/64 or something like that. But I'll drop a part number for wheel studs somewhere in this video about right here. That way, if you want to do something like this, you can have a common threaded wheel stud. These are not the oddball 12-1/4 that the factory later Geos use. These are 12-150s, like your most common stuff, your GM stuff, G bodies, F body Camaros, S10s, Pontiac Grand Prix, stuff like that. But these are a Summit brand wheel stud, but it looks like they're made by ARP according to the stampings on the back side of them. These were dirt cheap, so I just put them in there for precaution. And got a new set of KYB front struts. I could not get a set of upper strut mounts, so I just reused old ones because they're not in that bad a shape. They're just kind of ugly looking. And I did change from our cut springs to a Vauquelin spring. This is going to raise the front of the car up just a smidgen. And it's going to have to be raised up because I'm fixing to show you the big surprise. So, if you remember, I was running this 185/60 Hoosier road race slick. Well, these work fine on lower power cars, and they're not necessarily hard. It takes a little bit to get a little heat in them, and they got a super stiff sidewall. So, what I done, I went ahead, and since we had such big problems hooking this car, this is a 15x7 on a 4x1 14.3. with a 4-inch backspace and a 7.5x23 15 M&H. This is a dedicated drag race tire. So I don't even know if these will fit the car. I bought them on a whim, hoping that they would. So we may have to do some cutting and beating, but we'll address that when we get there. But first we gotta get the suspension back under it. So let's get busy doing that. And alright guys, I got our spindle stuck back up there and our strut bolts back tight. So, got that on there. I still got to tighten up the axle nut. That'll be one of the last things I do. I got to put the tie rod in on and the brake, so let's get to that. Well, I guess at this point, I got the axle nut torqued. Everything, I'd verified it was tight. Probably noticed I buzzed a lot of stuff down with that little 1/4-inch impact driver. Those things work great, guys. This is actually a Harbor Freight one, a Bauer 1/4-inch impact driver. It's about stronger than the 3/8 snap-on impact that I have, that we use at the shop. So, super impressed with that. You know, they didn't give me it. That's actually the second one I bought. First one lasted me about 4 years and it failed. You know, 40, 50 bucks. I went and bought another one, but I bought the warranty on this one. So otherwise, just super kind of impressed with it. You know, especially for the money. And as you can see, it's kind of been road hard and put up wet. So I guess at this point, we're about ready to at least stick the passenger side wheel on it and see if it'll fit. Then I can plan for any clearance issues that I may or may not have. And once I get the passenger wheel on it, I can roll the car over to the other side of the garage. Well, I don't say other side, but move it closer to these poles right here. And then I can tear down the driver's side. Fortunately, I had no spare parts in my Geo collection, that I grabbed a spare spindle and put the new wheel bearings in it. And I also had a spare strut assembly that I stole the strut cap from. That way I didn't have to wait another day to start getting this thing put back together. So let me get to that and I'll bring you along for the ride. And it was just about this point that I realized that I was completely right about, you know, they're going to hit things. So I'm going to flip around and kind of show you what I got. That way, you know, and you don't make any kind of bad decisions for yourself. Keep in mind that these things usually use like a 5.6, somewhere on their backspace wheel. Especially when going with a wider wheel. So these do stick out a little bit, and I am going to have to cut the fenders and the body a little bit, and probably the bumper too. It does not bother me. It is way too big of a tire for a street car. So I'll show you. So while a tire size like that looks small when you don't have it on the car, this is what it looks like with just a very small drop spring. Now those springs are about 1.5 inches, and you can see how big a 15-inch wheel looks on a Geo Metro. It actually looks more like an 18 or 20-inch wheel, which I knew. But this is a 15 by 7-inch wheel with a 4-inch backspace. It's got about 1 inch of poke outside the wheel well. With smaller size tire, it would probably clear fine. But what we're going to get into here, we're going to have to probably clearance this fender something like this right here. Down through here. The straw in the dirt. Probably about like that right there. And I'll turn this wheel and I'll show you why. You can see right there that, you know, we're right in the tire. And I anticipated this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut that fender, I'm going to cut it in there for clearance. And I'll show you the front up here. And I'm sure you probably heard that. We're into the bumper. It's real close right there to where the bumper and fender mount. And I will probably have to roll the wheel well lip. But guys, when you're building a race car, this is stuff you go through. You just pretty much have to make what you want fit. and I'm no stranger to that, and this was not a surprise to me. I just don't want people thinking that they can just stuff this kind of wheel and tire on the front of their Geo Metro. It will not fit without a lot of cutting and fitting. Since we're going down the drag car path, we're going to have to make some of this stuff happen. That's one thing I've not talked about a whole lot, is what the final goal for this car is. And I kind of slid it out in one of the other videos. I wanted to run high 7s and 8th mile, which would be a gigantic milestone for one of these cars. As far as I'm aware, there's no car on any form that's been posted with ETs and time slips that's even run close to what this car's already ran. So the main goal here is to make this pretty much the world's fastest 3-cylinder Geo Metro, with a stock block and stock bottom end. We're real close to that, guys. That's why I went ahead and spent the money on the tires. So this isn't the final step. This is just a stepping stone to see where real traction gets us. Well, at least the black of the wheels matches the rear, though. I'm not a real big fan of the look, but sacrifices have to be made. So I guess at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put the alternator pulley in, well, not the alternator pulley, the water pump pulley, and my new drive belt up here. I'm going to put that stuff on there and get that stuff wrapped up, and then we're going to push this thing on over. And I'm going to see if I can get this other side done tonight. So I'll be back here in a moment. I'm not going to bore you with me assembling the other side. It's basically the same as this side, guys. Just over there. Not really any difference. And I got the stuff laying here on the floor. And our other tire. So that said, we're easing up on 8 o'clock at night. So I better get the hustle on. So be back here in just a few. And alright guys, I got that other side finished up about 45 minutes. Once again, they're not a bad job to put struts, control arms, stuff on. You know, it's pretty much basic stuff. If you're curious about changing wheel bearings in one of these, check out my Geo Metro Tech videos. I actually show you how to replace these without actually using a press. So make sure you check that stuff out too. And I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to show you both sides and what exactly I'm going to have to do at this point to make these tires work. And I will probably release a video tomorrow afternoon or maybe Sunday of getting the tire clearance on this thing. And we're going to take it out naturally aspirated. Well, not naturally aspirated, but without the nitrous. With just turbo. And we're going to make some test passes. And we're going to see how much the car picked up. And then we're going to add the nitrous back in. I got the bottle filled, so it's getting full. So it should be a good hot bottle. We got some good sticky tires and some new front end stuff, so hopefully it picks up big, guys. I'm really anticipating it picking up pretty big. So if you want to take your guesses on how much it's going to pick up, leave that down in the comments below. And until then, guys, as always, I'd appreciate it if you liked, shared, and subscribed. We're gaining subscribers pretty quickly. Still lacking on those watch hours, though. So please watch a few videos. Lots of Geo Metro content on my channel. From tech videos on up to this build to Project Phoenix. So check them out. And I'll see you at the next one, guys.